Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. So I would like to welcome the viewers, to our Sembang, Sembang session, our Sembang Santai, Siri 6, with our honoured Dato Michael Teo, on today's topic, that is the impact of COVID-19 on global supply chains and opportunities in the post-COVID world. So because this is Sembang Santai, I think we santai-santai je lah Dato'
Ya, okey.
Nanti keras-keras sangat, stress pula.
Don't worry.
I would like to thank Dato' lah, for spending his time, for his willingness, to be with us, on sharing his knowledge, on his know-how about the industry, about the logistic industry. Thank you very much, Dato'.
Welcome.
And I would like to express the gratitude to SKP and UMK for organizing this session, so that we can do some knowledge sharing and experience sharing with Dato'. So, as for me, forget about my background, because I'm working from home, so that is my green screen.
Okay.
Just ignore that. So I'm very sorry. Let's start a bit. I will start a bit about Dato' Michael Teo, and then after this, Dato' will explain more about himself, about his experience, on going through, three crises. With the COVID crisis is the mother of all crises. So I will start with introduction of Dato' first. Dato' Michael Teo, or DMT. This is the executive profile about Dato' Michael Teo. So from his young age, he was already showing prodigious amount of business potential. So he inherited it from his father, Dato' Teo Suk Kyo, who founded PKT. So Port Klang Trading, is actually from Port Klang Trading. Renamed PKT Logistics back in 1974. So in his student day in England, he founded and ran a tremendously successful business that exported luxury pre-owned vehicle. So export ke mana tu Dato'? Malaysia ya?
Yeah. Of course. We export back to Malaysia.
Okay, and then he finally returned to Malaysia in 1996. For quite some time, to join the family business, PKT Logistics Group, and his famous quote, now is, "I came back for national service." Thank you very much, Dato'. And then with his responsibility of dream it, talk it, plan it, and work and get it. He took on the leading role to further grow the company, with the vision of becoming leading logistic players in providing customized integrated total logistic solution in the Asean region. So he's also an avid user of Facebook, by making Facebook compulsory in PKT. So PKT is using Facebook as its internet and communication tool. Up to date, he has over 1 million Facebook followers, and also CEO of Malaysia Book Record after acquiring it in 2015. So his contribution appointed as adjunct professor by UM, and Dato' is also an adjunct professor in UMK for UMK. Thank you very much, Dato'. He was also selected as one of the top CEOs under CEO Faculty Program under the Jabatan Pengajian Teknik and Ministry of Education. And I think Dato' also is CEO Faculty Program for IPTAs, isn't it?
Yes.
So in 2018, he was conferred the honorary doctor of philosophy in logistic management by UUM. His philosophy towards CSR is not about how you spend your profit. This is about how responsibly you make your profit. Which made initiatives such as Anak Belajar, Ibu Bekerja, and jom bekerja sambil belajar and stand out among the rest. I think Dato has given so many opportunities for students to do internship. If I'm not mistaken, Dato, yeah?
Yep.
So even our students is doing internship in Dato's company. Okay, today PKT is a leading niche logistics service provider and has present overseas, South Korea, Taiwan, and most Asian country. Uh, so is active proponent of unique and innovative corporate social initiative, has won many accolades. Okay, Frost and Sullivan niche logistics service provider of the year, Sinchu business excellent person of the year, and Star Soba entrepreneur of the year. Okay, for his education and credentials, okay, he started schooling in 1985, La Salle School, Kelang. And then he did his diploma in business study from Macclesfield College. And in 1991, Bachelor of Science Accounting from University of Hull. And then 1992, going to Master of Art in Multinational Accounting and Financial Management from the University of Reading. And in 2008, he was awarded the Datukship title from State of Negeri Sembilan. And 2010 awarded as JP, Justice Office. So boleh angkat sumpah ni Datuk boleh sign
I don't think so. Nowadays, agak susah.
Berjuru jaya sumpah juga ni. And then to 2012 Board of Governors for La Salle Kelang sekolah Board of Governors for La Salle School Kelang. And then 2013 President of HAL in Alumni Malaysia. And 2014, how old are you, Dato?
Now 52.
2014.
2014 lupa lah. 46 I think.
Okay, 2014 Honorary Advisor of Satuan Usahawan Muda Malaysia. Okay. And then 2014 appointed as Adjunct Professor by UUM. And then 2015, okay, appointed as one of the recruited under CEO Faculty Program by Jabatan Pengajian Politeknik. 2015, okay, until now, isn't it? Appointed as one of the educators under CEO Faculty Program by Ministry of Higher Education for IPTs here, I think. And then 2006, appointed as Adjunct Professor by UITM. And 2017, appointed as Panel Advisor for CEO Faculty Program by Ministry of Higher Education. And then also we have the appointment by UMK, so Datuk kan, on being a adjunct professor in UMK. And then for his entrepreneurship track, okay, in 2011, okay, this one award, business award by Frost and Sullivan, award of Emerging Logistics Service Provider of the Year. And then for 2011 also, the Star Outstanding Business Award, SOBA. Okay, Best Employer, Silver Award. Good Employer, Dato' Best Employer. And then Business of the Year, 2011 also Silver Award. And Entrepreneur of the Year, Gold Award. Okay. So I think Dato' is the best of the best dapat Gold Award Okay. And then 2011 also the Brand Laureate Award. Okay, the SME Entrepreneur of the Year 2011, and also the Best Logistics Service Provider of the Year 2011. And again, okay, in 2012, okay, for SOBA Award, okay, he managed to get the grand winner for Malaysian Business of the Year, and then grand winner for Entrepreneur of the Year, and then Best Green Initiative, okay, Gold Award. So PKT also is a green operator for logistics, Dato'
Green Logistics.
Yeah. And then Best Employer, Silver Award, and also Best in CSR also, Silver Award. And 2013, okay, he earned, okay, the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year, Top Nominee Master category. And 2014, okay, Chinchu Business Excellent Awards, okay, Business Excellent Person of the Year and CSR Excellent Award. Wah, banyak juga, okay, Datuk give to the societies Okay, so many time okay got the CSR award. And then 2014 Hull Laureate Award by University of Hull. Okay, first recipient in the world. Congratulations, Dato. And then 2015 Green Tech Awards. Okay, so PKT Logistics recognized as one of the top 30 green catalysts in Malaysia. And 2015 the Brand Laureate Award Best Brand in Green Logistics Service Provider. So I think we can learn many things about green logistics with Datuk nanti. Okay, maybe our students or our lecturers can go to your place, okay, to learn more about this green logistics. And then 2015 also Frost Sullivan, okay, green logistics again, green logistics service provider of the year. Okay, so consistent. And then niche logistics service provider of the year. And 2015 Asia Responsible Entrepreneurship Award Macau. Okay, investment in people and responsible business leader. And again in 2016, Frost and Sullivan. Okay, so he managed to get the best ocean freight service provider of the year. Ada kapal ke Dato'?
Tak ada kapal.
Oh, satu lagi lah. Satu lah. And then 2000 Parliament Award. I think this one also for green, isn't it, Dato'?
Which one is it?
JCI Malaysia Sustainable Development Award.
Yeah. It's for green development.
Okay, Industry Innovation and Infrastructure winner. And 2070 Keystar Supplier Award by Keystone Group. Okay, and second place in the world. And 2017 the most active CEO award by Minister of Higher Education. Okay, I think by his contribution, by his involvement in IPTAs, okay, I think you deserve it, Dato'. Okay, and then 2018 conferment of honorary Doctor of Philosophy degree in Logistic Management. Okay, at AUM, and 2019 Situ Education Award. Okay, CSR Excellent Award. Okay, and I would like to thank Dato' about your contribution to UMK, other than Prof. Ejang at UMK. Okay,
I'm honored. Thank you.
Dato' also contribute for the best student for Logistics Student Award in 2019 convocation, and I think that student work for you, Dato'. Now work for you. So I think thank you for that for giving our for our students the recognition for the recognition for our student to work with Dato'.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Nizam. Thank you for the long list of 15 minutes talking about my awards. I think they also can find it out in my Facebook page or my account. But I'd like to say hello to all the Facebook friends that went in. You can see from the Facebook of UMK now, everyone say hello to me. Nurul Azma, Fuzi, Aidul, Muhammad Akil, thank you for all the inspiring words that I can inspire you guys. I hope winning awards is not the only thing. I think it's more of walking your talk, being able to do what you say you are doing. Okay. So for those people who can hear me clear or not clear, just say it. If you say you can hear me clearly now, just put the word DMT, yes, DMT, yes. Just key in DMT, yes, in the comment there if you can hear me very well. Okay, I just want to make sure that you connected here. Okay, so okay, Tuan Nizam, let's start because we have a long way to go.
Silakan Dato', please. Silakan Dato'.
Yeah, okay, let's start.
On your sekejap Dato'. Okay, Dato', can carry on?
Okay. So today's topic we are talking about COVID-19. I think everybody is very concerned about COVID-19, how COVID-19 has interrupted the global supply chain. So in actual fact, there is not only disrupted, I think it has actually completely stopped the global supply chain for a while. Now looking like the China already start opening up. So the manufacturer of the world, which is China, producing a lot of components for many countries, not only in Japan, but Europe and US as well. So because there's no component, there cannot be finished goods. So one of the big news that we came out and see is actually manufacturer like Nissan reported the stop of production. Hyundai also reported stop of production because they depend heavily on components making from China. So these are called the global supply chain. So before I go into the current situation of global supply chain, let me just go back and tell you what happened in the previous crisis and how we can look back on the previous crisis in order for us to manage this crisis now. Okay, so what happened is that over the times we faced with a lot of crisis during my period. I'm not sure about your period. Maybe you guys were not born in 1998 when we faced with the ASEAN currency crisis in 1998. So if Prof, you have the slide for the ASEAN currency crisis, the currency of Malaysian exchange rate. If you don't mind, you just pop it up now so that I can explain to the students what is the impact of the currency crisis from ringgit 2.5 Malaysian ringgit was devaluated all the way to 4.3. So this is back in the history. I mean, we are all some of you have studied economics, some of you have studied statistics. In terms of the ringgit is a fluctuated currency where we are doing a free fluctuation of currency depending on the actual demand and actual supply. Okay, so when there is an actual demand and actual supply, the ringgit will fluctuate according to the demand and supply. Malaysia being a natural net exporter of US dollar, meaning we are exporting petroleum, we are exporting our palm oil, we are exporting byproduct of electronic products that we manufacture here, we export. So we export more in US dollar than we import. We become a net exporter of US dollar. When we become a net exporter of US dollar, naturally, ringgit will strengthen against US dollar over time. Okay, strengthening and strengthening and strengthening. So ringgit was moving around that region about 2.3, 2.5 ringgit to $1 for many years. Okay, until 1998, during the ASEAN currency crisis, where speculators came in and devalue our currency from 2.5 to 4.3 to 4.4. Okay, 4.3.4. So that is a devaluation of almost 70 to 80% of devaluation. That means our purchasing power today, 1 ringgit I can buy US dollar something. So become only that 1 ringgit become only 20 to 35 cent US cent only the value. So you need 4 times ringgit to buy that same product. Okay, so that was the devaluation of US dollar ringgit against US dollar. So when this thing happened, our economy shrink. Okay, so our purchasing power dropped and whatnot. So that is caused by speculator. If you can see the graph of the currency graph. So when you see the currency graph, Prof, do you still have the currency graph that I showed you yesterday, Prof? Dr. Nizam, Tuan Nizam, if you don't mind, you have that? Okay, you don't mind, just shoot it up now. Share it. Okay, so if you look at the currency graph, I think they are sharing it now. you see that this is not currency, Dr. Nizam. This is more of a stock market. The currency one is the one on the top. The one on the top. Further up. So anyway, so if you look at the currency, when the currency is moving this way and suddenly there is a devaluation, straight line up, it is not normal. So normally for economics or statistician, they will circle this up and they say this is called speculation. So when they speculate against currency, currency should not be speculated, guys. Currency should be only for trading purpose. It's not a stock market share. But then if the country, somebody with a lot of money that they can hedge against, let's say I have 10 billion, I can hedge to make it 100 billion. I can dump ringgit and keep on dumping ringgit and buy back at a cheaper price. Then they are able to devalue our currency. So because of that, actually created the ASEAN currency crisis. Now, the way I look at it is, during the time in the 80s, a lot of American, 70s and 80s, a lot of American firms actually start outsourcing from America down into Southeast Asia, including China, when China was opening up in the 80s. Okay, so when they start outsourcing all the factory to us, then they become a net importer of goods. Okay, they start importing a lot of goods. They don't export anymore because all their goods are manufactured in ASEAN. They import. So the more they import, they had to use a lot. They had to use our currency a lot. So they had to buy a lot of Malaysian currency to pay us. When this thing happened, automatically US dollar over time devalue against the rest of ASEAN currencies. Okay, so until Bill Clinton came over as a president of America, and they found a shortcut to revalue this currency. So they found a shortcut by getting the speculator called George Soros to devalue the whole ASEAN currency using speculation, and then so that American will now purchase at a cheaper price. So for example, if they are buying rubber glove, Malaysia is exporting a lot of rubber glove to America. Before that, if they sell a box of rubber glove at 10 US dollar, so at 2.5, they are getting 25 ringgit only. Okay, so that means they pay us 10 US, I get 25 ringgit. So then they devalue us to 4.5. Okay, so now they pay us $10, we get 45 ringgit. So then they start telling Malaysian company, you are actually earning more money by 20 ringgit per box of rubber glove. You need to reduce your price. So Malaysian manufacturer reduced 30% to 7 US dollar. So for 7 US dollar, after 30% discount to them, okay, we are still getting 28.50 ringgit. Compared to 25 ringgit, 28.50 is still more than before I get in terms of ringgit. So I am happy and they are happy because they get 30% discount. So when they did that, America have a tremendous savings during the period of 1999 until 2000. That is where the first time in American history, they are able to balance their congressional budget. Congressional budget means what they spend become lesser, okay? And then a lot of corporations, suddenly they make super normal profits because they got good discount from ASEAN country, and then they pay more income tax. So when they pay more corporation tax and income tax, so government receive more money. So the more money they get it, and then compared to the budget, they get budget surplus. So I read through all this budget and I understand how they did it in 1998. So when Malaysia, at that time I was studying in the UK in 1996, then I was asked to come back and take over the family business. Luckily, I did my business study in diploma, degree in accounting, master's in multinational accounting and financial management. So when I did my master's in financial management, I chose subjects related to international financial markets. Okay, international financial markets, international banking. So I understand the exchange rate, the currency, and how the market fluctuate and whatnot. Okay, so because of that understanding, then I'm able to explain to you what actually happened in 1998 ASEAN currency crisis. It was not due to the fundamentals the newspaper used as an excuse to devalue our currency. So when this thing happened, you have to understand it's a collaboration between the speculator and the media. If they can control the media, they can play with the media to come up with the news to devalue a currency, then they start devaluating. So using the news. So they say our fundamental not strong. How can our fundamental not strong? For the last 20 years, nothing happened. And suddenly in 1998, our fundamental become not strong. So what they did is they bring in IMF, and then the IMF take over the country. So they are the one who pretend to be police, and they send the speculator to devalue you, and they send in the police, which is called IMF. I borrow you money, but you must open up your economy for me to take over. So they take over a lot of bank. They force us to open up our banking sector, which is one of the most profitable sector in the market. So this is how they did this. They started this called globalization, where they start taking over a lot of countries because they couldn't grow by themselves, and they went into globalization. So when I came back from the UK, of course, taking over Malaysian my parents' business, which is our family business, which is logistics. I had this crystal ball in front of me where I had to make a decision. As a student, like what Encik Nizam Tuan Nizam was explaining just now, I was a student exporting car from UK back to Malaysia. So when you are exporting car from UK back to Malaysia, you have to work very hard. When you work very hard, then you get income. So this is called active income. So when I'm young, I always want to make money very fast. So I think a lot of you also interested to make a lot of money very fast. So that's why you join what do you call that, the insurance company. You become real estate, selling real estate property development and whatnot. So this is a picture of me when I was young and I was in the UK. This is 1992, if I'm not mistaken, when I did my master's in Reading University. And these are the cars that park outside my compound, Mercedes-Benz, that I export back to Malaysia. So as a young kid, I already exporting car back to Malaysia, young entrepreneur. So when I was asked by my parents in 1995, December, after my wedding, to come back and take over the family business. So I was looking at a crystal ball. My family business is basically, last time they call it freight forwarding, but in UK, there's no more freight forwarding, forwarding agent. They call themselves logistics already. So I was looking, there is a potential to take over this business, and this business is scalable, can go until very big. Okay, so I was looking at it and I said, yes, I would like to move on my life from active income to passive income. Passive income is when you build a company that can grow until it becomes so big that you can spend your time traveling the world, like Richard Branson's making business even when he's on holiday. So making deals, making money when he's on holiday. I love that kind of life. So I was envisioned myself to be one of the somebody like Richard Branson in the future, where I can do a lot of business even though when I'm on holiday. So that is the best thing I want to do in my life. So I decided to move away from active income into passive income, which is growing a logistics company. So now, logistics company in the UK is so huge, and then in UK they move into from being from just only United Kingdom into great European Union. So they open up. So they start moving their traffic logistics, branch it into European Union. Of course, today we had the bad news that UK actually already exit from European Union. But before that happened, actually the logistics company are able to expand through the whole European Union. It become a single country, then no stops in between. They just drive through the lorry, pass, go through the Euro rail, go to France, come out in France, or use the, what do you call that, ferry across, and then distribute into Europe side as well. So the distribution is so big. So I'm looking at Malaysia. Malaysia also potentially, we are talking about now, especially we are already in ASEAN regionalization. So means ASEAN is one country. Sooner or later, all our trucks can move in the whole ASEAN free of tax and whatnot lah. So this will be the barrier that will be open up for us. They'll be closed, open up, no more barriers between countries, Malaysia and Thailand. We can drive all the way until Myanmar, no problem, and then distribute in Myanmar. So this is potentially very big. So I decided to give up what I was doing in UK and came back to Malaysia to take over our family business. At that time, our family business was only doing just a local business, very comfortable. And of course, I call it national service because I'm coming back and then contribute towards our family and our country as well to grow the logistics industry. So Malaysia, I had no idea how to grow the logistics business because I am more of British educated. But then the only thing I can remember is during that period when I came back from the UK, Tun Mahathir was the Prime Minister of Malaysia, and he always preached what do you call that? Look East policy, look East policy. So I have no idea how to do the business, and I just focused on packaging PKT. It was Portland Trading and Forwarding Agency. Those days, if people see you are a partnership company, nobody want to deal with you. So I converted it into Sdn Bhd. So I call it PKT Logistics Sdn Bhd. That's how I started it with the logo of PKT and whatnot. So then I use Look East policy. So I focus on joint venture because I have no idea how to do logistics. The best is called technology transfer, know-how transfer. So we look for partner from Japan and Korea, which are called the developed country within the Southeast Asian region. So Tun M was preaching ASEAN++, which is including China, Japan, and Korea. And then Look East policy is basically focusing on Japan and Korea, how they develop so fast internally. So I look for partnership. In 1998, I managed to joint venture with a Japanese company called Otoku Express. They are a subsidiary of Mitsui Trading House, Mitsui Group of companies. Actually, every Mitsui Group of companies own about 25% shares in Otoku Express. I also joint venture with them. And subsequently, Malaysia did not submit to IMF, meaning our ringgit, our country did not submit to IMF. Tun M, instead, he decided to fix Malaysian currency against US dollar at 3.8. So he was the only person in the world who dared to make this move against the speculators. The speculators are the people who don't like fixed stuff. They want you to fluctuate your currency so that they can manipulate the currency. But Tun M fixed it, so they make them angry for a few years lah. Okay, of course they criticize him a lot and whatnot. So ringgit was fixed at 3.8. They were trapped. So what happened is they were trapped means they were selling ringgit without having ringgit to devalue ringgit. So when Tun M fixed it at 3.8, they got trapped because they already sold ringgit, but they don't have a ringgit. They cannot trade ringgit anymore. So they need to cover the position that they sold. So in order to cover the position that they sold the ringgit forward to devalue ringgit, they have to find ringgit to cover that position. So what they did is they put up a fixed deposit in Singapore, I think up to 30% interest for people to deposit ringgit in Singapore, so that they can actually use this one to cover the position. Otherwise, they were trapped at that time. So that was the situation, and that is why I admire this Tun M move, that nobody dared to do it, and he actually dared to trap the speculator, which is George Soros, and of course they become enemy for some times until today lah. So for those who do not understand what happened, this crisis was created. It's not due to sentiment. It is a move by the America to devalue whole ASEAN currency so that they can balance their budget. Okay, so this is an indirect way, but that created millions of people suffering from devaluation of our value, our purchasing power at that time lah. So after joint venture with the Japanese company, they actually helped Malaysia to borrow money from Japan government, which in return used for the double track project Rawang to Ipoh. So And then at that time, it was awarded into this Japanese mystery trading house to do the supply of material for our electrified double track project. And because mystery trading house got one logistics company joint venture with PKT, so PKT was buffered in this 1998 crisis by doing the double track project. At that time, there was the biggest project in Malaysia. So that is how I do positioning. So for a lot of entrepreneurs, I tell them, when you want to do business, you have to think about your business must be scalable, one. And then number two, you need to position in the right sector, blue ocean strategy. Don't go into the red ocean where everyone is there, okay? So you study that before. I'm just telling you how you use what you learn from textbook and use it in real entrepreneurship. So in the year 2000, I managed to join venture with Korean company. So we become the biggest Korean freight forwarder, representing Korean freight forwarder in Malaysia. So because of that, I have a lot of Korean cargo coming in. So when the Korean car decided to come into Malaysia in year 2001, okay, end of 2001, 2002, Korean car came to Malaysia due to the reason, the first reason why Korean car came to Malaysia is at that time Suharto was toppled in the 1998 currency crisis. Because of the currency crisis, Indonesia went bankrupt, and then there was a riot, and then Suharto was toppled, and Suharto was supposed to launch their own national car called Timo. Malaysia already launched our Proton, so they was going to launch their national car called Timo. And Timo is actually also a rebatch using the technology and from Kia. You know the Kia brand from Korea. So they take Kia to Spectra to Indonesia, take out the batch and put a new batch called Timo. They was going to launch Timo in Indonesia. But when Suharto was toppled, so Timo didn't launch. So there was a big number of cars in Indonesia that couldn't sell. So they brought it to Malaysia and rebatched back into Kia and sell it under Kia Spectra. And they sold it. I don't know whether rebatch as Kia or under another brand by Masa. So I remember Tan Sri Nizamuddin bring in that car, and then we launched Malaysian Kia brand in Malaysia during the 2002. So at that time, many people asked that they were looking for a logistics player that can handle Korean business, and then we have positioned ourselves into the Korean business, and that's how we were introduced into doing business for Korean automotive, Kia, and then followed by Hyundai as well. So with that two business combined, automotive business, I found my blue ocean strategy. Okay, so blue ocean strategy means automotive logistics. So that is 2002. So as an entrepreneur, I know that in business, I was always asked to make sure that you are always diversifying your business. So in one of the subject later on in those people who studying economics, you will find that all managerial economics, diversification is one of the subject inside there. There are many ways of diversification. So you need to diversify in any business that you do. So we didn't focus only on the manufacturer, because within the manufacturer, there are only two customers. So never put all your eggs in only two customer basket. Okay, so my idea was, since they had to, the Kia and Hyundai asked us to deal with all their component supplier, the one that supply exhaust pipe, tire, battery lah, fuel tank lah, car seat lah, window lah, the glass lah, all these things. So we also now have the opportunity to penetrate into their vendor. Okay, so we decided to concentrate on their vendors as our next diversification, because all their vendors is, say for example, I'm supplying battery. I'm also supplying battery to besides supplying battery to Hyundai and Kia, but I'm also supplying to Proton, Perudua, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, so forth. So by going towards the vendor, I'm actually not putting all my basket, all my eggs in one Hyundai and Kia basket. So now I have grown myself towards all the local vendors. Okay, one click please. Okay, and then from 2007, I move on to other car brand, because I understand that in the automotive industry, not every car manufacturer are competing with each other. Mercedes are not competing with Hyundai IKEA for sure. BMW are not competing with Hyundai IKEA. BMW is always competing with Mercedes-Benz. So then I understand that if I take one brand from every segment, so I have no problem with our customers. So from that time onward, we decided to take in more brands, and that's how we grow our automotive logistics business. So now automotive logistics business become, all my eggs is automotive logistics basket already. Okay, so that is how we grow our business. If you can see the graph, we got the joint venture with the Japanese company. Because of the joint venture with the Japanese company, we grow from 2 million to 40 million. Okay, that is 2002. So when we take over when we found automotive logistics, we grew from 40 million to 200 million in 2008. That is before the world financial crisis. So I will explain to you all the crisis so that you can understand how I'm managing this crisis now. Okay. So before I was stumbled upon before we are all affected by this world financial crisis in 2007, I noticed that we were trying to think whether we can go IPO or not, and we found that all our business all too focused on automotive logistics. 95% of our turnover from only one vertical, which is automotive logistics. 5% is various, some F&B and one about very small numbers. Okay, so we decided in 2008 to do a transformation. We buy a land. We want to move into fast-moving consumer goods. So in 2008, we did a transformation program. We call it the company transformation program. Okay, today I have actually did about 3 transformation program for online transformation program for my mentee and also some of the people from the public that join me. I call it the COVID transformation program. I will talk about it a bit later, but let me talk about this company transformation program. Before the crisis hit us, actually at the beginning of the onset of the crisis, that is like December 2008, we went for a retreat. 20 of our top management went to Port Dickson for this retreat. We call it company transformation program. So let me explain to you what happened in 2008 first before I explain to you what we did in the transformation program. Now, in 2008, just before the crisis, America, actually we were having oil crisis. Anybody can remember oil crisis? Remember the oil crisis? Anybody can remember? I just need some interaction from the crowd here. 300 of you all listening. I just want to make sure that you are listening to me. 2008, we had an oil crisis. What was the price of the highest price the oil went up to? What was the highest price the oil went up to? It was about 30 over 40 US dollar. I know it was speculated. It went up very high. What was the highest point the oil price went up all the way to? Any idea? Anybody? Okay, so this is called the oil crisis. Now, I just want to, I'm not saying it's a confirmation, but my evaluation of oil crisis, how did it all started? Because in every crisis, the media will have excuse to tell you why the oil price can suddenly jump from 30 US to 150 US. Okay, now the reason why oil can jump from 30 US to 150 US, guys, this is ridiculous. This is called speculation. Okay, no way it can do like that overnight. Okay, so when we are economists or statistician, when you see a graph like that jump up, okay, you always circle and you question them out. This is called speculation. 150 US is impossible, never tested before. So what happened here is, if you look at it nicely, okay, because I'm in the logistics already, people were asking me for oil tanker. Dato Mike, you have oil tanker or not? I say, why? we want to park oil. We want to use it to store oil. Hey, I say, oil tanker is for you to transport oil, not for you to store oil. Why are you interested to store oil when we can transport the oil from one place to another place? Now, what happened subsequently, I found out, is in 1996, they managed to topple Saddam Hussein. Okay, American went to Iraq, and then start bombing Iraq, and then George Bush managed to kill Saddam Hussein in 2007. Now, after they killed Saddam Hussein, actually, what happened to all the oil in Iraq? They actually took out all the oil in Iraq. When they take out all the oil in Iraq, if OPEC is producing according to world demand, that means the world demand 2 million barrel, I produce 2 million barrel. Okay, so why would anybody want to buy this extra oil? Nobody want to buy, right? So because I'm buying from OPEC country, because OPEC are producing oil for us to buy. If non-OPEC, I will buy from Russia, right? So there is OPEC controlling the production of oil so that it will not be overproduced, so the oil price will still be sensible to sell. So the reason why the oil was pushed up is coming to the end of Bush term in the end of 2007, 2008. 2008 is the end of his term already. In November will be the election. So they need to get rid of the oil because they have another bad news coming out, which is the subprime mortgage. If the world go into crisis, America went into crisis, especially the world financial market, the subprime mortgage crisis, people will stop buying oil because we will go into recession. Recession means people will stop buying car, oil price will drop as well. So they didn't want to wait until that period. They need to speculate to get rid of the oil. So that's how they get all the professors, paid professors, to come up with the news, mainstream media, and then they talk about oil shortage lah, showing the demand and supply lah, all these things lah, and then they start pushing. So oil is also in the market, just like you can trade a share. So when they pakat already with the media, they can actually speculate, just like how they speculate our ringgit from 2.5 to 4.3, 4.4. Okay, so now they want to speculate the oil from 3.0 to all the way to 100 over $100 over dollars, so that they can get rid of this oil. People will buy forward. When people buy forward, means they are hedging. So the one that got most panic is China, because China use a lot of petroleum, and they are not a petroleum country. They don't produce oil, so they had to buy oil. So they got worried. They start hedging against oil, and then they intentionally, even the oil price hit $100, they did not ask OPEC to increase production. Okay, that's very unusual move. When the oil price hit so high, obviously OPEC had to increase production to make sure the oil price is the price. They didn't want. So if you Google for that in 2008, OPEC refused to increase production. Then you find out that they actually did this maneuvering to push the oil price to 150. And China, you want to buy or not this oil? To buy forward. So China have no choice to buy forward, and they get rid of all the oil that they keep at Straits of Malacca. They all park the oil tanker parking in Straits of Malacca, all of them from Saddam Hussein. So they managed to get rid of the oil already. So then that is how immediately after that, if you have the oil chart, guys, yesterday I showed you the oil chart, Nizam, you show the oil chart from 150 US, and then immediately after that, Bush allowed them to announce the subprime mortgage crisis. So in June 2008, they start announcing the subprime mortgage issue, and then the oil price dropped from 150 all the way to below $30. Okay, so you see that, if you you guys, you see that the financial crisis, the highest price 150 plus over there. Okay, then they drop all the way down. So that's how they speculate to push the oil price all the way to 150 plus. At one time they say it's going to hit $200, and then after that they drop all the way to $30. Okay, so this is almost what happening to us now. the crisis. So this is how they speculated. So I am not listening to news, because news will not tell you what you want to hear. News will be playing what the speculator wants you to hear. Okay, and oil price can drop until $30. This is ridiculous. This is actually hit a lot of people. A lot of people was caught unaware, especially those who buy forward oil and whatnot. So China learned from that lesson. I noticed one thing ever since that, from 2009, in the China automotive exhibition, China government give instruction to every one of the automotive car maker to move into electric car. So every single car maker in China were pressured by the government to stop using petroleum, move into electric car, because they are a non-petroleum producing country. They cannot afford to have this crisis again. So in order to manage this risk, they actually pressure every one of the automotive car manufacturer to have electric car. So now if you go to China, all their motorbike is all 100% electric already. All their cars are now moving into electric cars as well. Okay, either hybrid or electric, they jump technology. Okay, so this is how the whole thing started. So and after that, of course the oil price came back, and then after that until $100. So if you can see, the oil price reached $100 at that time. Okay, so that is already 2014. Okay, 2014, $100 before they dropped. So I have three crises that I faced during during my entrepreneurship journey. One is the 1998 world ASEAN currency crisis. Number two is world financial crisis. Number three is this third crisis, which is not written here, which is called the regional crisis and oil crisis. At that time, in 2014 September, oil price crashed from $100, went all the way down to about $30 or so. So a lot of Malaysian oil and gas companies suffer a lot, and ringgit was devaluated from 3.0 again to 4.5 this time. So, and then the last graph show you the COVID-19 crisis, the mother of all the crises. So go back to our presentation again. So let me tell you what happened to our company, how we managed this ASEAN financial crisis. Basically, we have a company transformation program. The reason why we had that transformation during that period when we were hit by the ASEAN, not ASEAN currency, this world financial crisis. Now, what is this world financial crisis? For those people who are born in 2000, you may not know that because you are still young. Let me explain to you. It started off as from 2006. In 2006, America was supposed to go into recession already. And then, as the President of America, George Bush, was concentrated on going after Saddam Hussein, all the Middle East country, to take over their oil first while he is the president. They topple all the government and put in their puppet prime minister and take all the oil out. So when this thing happened, they don't want America with the oil coming out from the Middle East. They don't want America to go into recession. So he tell the Secretary of Treasury, I don't want you to go into recession. No matter how, you need to prolong the recession. So the only way to prolong recession, to boost the economy of a country, to stimulate the economy of a country, is to stimulate construction. So the construction need to continue. So in order for construction need to continue, they had to give who is the buyer. So now subprime mortgage is about people without any credit rating issue. The people have no credit rating issue. Okay, so I have no job, but I have no credit rating issue. So the American government actually reduced the grade of lending to this kind of people. They allow people without credit rating issue, but without a job, to buy a house, speculating that 2 years later, when the house complete, You can sell the house and you make a profit, and you don't even have to pay any single cent. So like now, I think a lot of you go and buy a house, you can sign an S&P, you don't have to pay a single cent until the house is ready. Then you take over the house, then you start paying. Correct or not? So exactly the same situation in 2006. American government allowed people to buy house if they don't have a job. So they allowed speculation on housing. So a lot of housing was created during 2006, knowing the fact in 2008, when all the house is complete, the country will go into the collapse, financial collapse. Because if 2008, when it complete, everyone also have no money to pick up the house, right? They all want to sell the house. When everyone wants to sell the house, sure lah, the housing subprime mortgage happen now. So nobody can pay for the mortgage. Okay, so because of that, then the banks start collapse one by one, collapse here, collapse. So after they sold the oil already, they allowed the subprime mortgage news to come out, where all the banks start going collapse from subprime mortgage, because we are hearing this news every day on CNN, CNBC, Bloomberg, and everything. So we also got scared, and we also stopped buying cars, buying house also. Malaysian economy moving into standstill at the end of 2008. 2009, all the bad news came out from America, collapsing one by one. Okay, so now that was the reason for the subprime mortgage issue, because the America was supposed to go into recession in 2006. Okay, they prolonged it. Then 2008, they got hit harder. Okay, but it's okay lah, because before that thing happened, George Bush was trying to get the American government to rescue the bank, because they were already sign of collapsing from June until September. That is before the end of his term. So somewhere in October 2008, he managed to convince the Congress by after the news in the America, this is how they play with the news. They show America is going back into Great Depression. In the World War 1940s, they have to queue for food, and they tell the American, you're going to go into Great Depression if you do not allow the Congress to pass this rescue money. 700 billion was given to the banks to rescue them from this crisis. Now I'm thinking, I'm actually studying international financial markets, banking, and all these things. I say actually banks has a lot of risk management. What happened to the risk manager in 2006 when they say they allowed somebody which has no money to buy a house to be speculated in 2008? They knew this is going to happen. So this is a big question mark. So I would like to share with you, this is also another conspiracy at the end of the day. So they allowed 700 billion people money to rescue all the banks for that mistake. Then they start giving the banks. So Bush take this 700 billion, give to Obama. He shook Obama's hand. Don't come after me. Okay, don't come after him means don't come after me, because Bush was prosecuted for war crime against Saddam Hussein. Because at the end they found out Saddam Hussein had no mass destruction weapon, but he already killed him already. So, but then Obama pardoned him. So Obama took the 700 billion ringgit and rescued the economy. So from January 2009 until March 2009, all the news in America is talking about how much they suffer, how many retrenchment will happen. GM will retrench 10,000 employees, they will lose 10 billion, 5 billion, all the bad news come out. This is called justification for how much money you should get from the 700 billion. So from January to March, they were all giving justification news. So now, because America already came out, I'm talking about now, under the stimulus package for COVID-19, America already came out with 1.2 trillion US dollar. And then recently, the Democrats also pushing for 3 trillion US dollar for COVID stimulus package. From now until the 3 months, from now is May, June, July, August, you are talking about news about how which company need to be rescued in America. So this is called rescue news. So if you saw the news, don't get panic. because they need this news to justify to the public why they are giving money to this company. Otherwise, later on stage, they say you are corruption, you are giving to your cronies. So they cannot afford that. So they need justification news. So this thing will happen. I studied the same move in 2009. January to March, it was a news justification to news, given the money out. Then the next quarter, April to March, April, May, and June, all the company that receive this free money must turn around. So if they are giving the money in May, June, July, August onward, they need to come out with a turnaround news. Okay, turnaround news will happen in August. Stock markets will go up very high and whatnot. Even now, they are coming up. Stock market is going up. Of course, this crisis is different from 2009. This crisis is a lot. It's the mother of crisis. Financial crisis, oil crisis, also work, no work and lockdown crisis and all these things. So talking about 2009, after the second quarter all go up, then the economy turn around. That's where I show you the graph of the stock exchange, Prof. If you don't mind, Tuan Nizam, shoot out the graph for the V-shaped graph of the turnaround in 2009, if you don't mind, so that I can explain to all the students and lecturers. These are the V-shape that we will be expecting to happen in 2020, how our economy is going up. So, Tuan Nizam, can you shoot up the graph just now? Do you want to show one? The crisis, okay? Okay, this one. Okay, so looking at this graph, I have actually circled, I did my research. I compare our stock market. On the bottom one is hold on the bottom one is KLCI, Kuala Lumpur Composite Index. On the top one is Dow Jones Composite Index. If you look at it, of course, the number of years is not the same, but look at the graph there, the drop and then how they turn around, it is the same. So when Dow Jones is start moving up, we will expect KLCI to also do the same V-shape. V-shape means down and up also very fast. Okay, so actually the stock market all will move concurrently for the whole world together. They will turn around. So knowing the fact that economy will turn around, we decided, okay, go back to transformation. We decided in 2008 December, because as an entrepreneur, if you can see globally, your visual is globally, and you are not subject to speculated news, that means you can think nicely, okay? You are able to plan correctly, okay? So you know how to take advantage of the situation when it comes to this kind of crisis again. So I'm explaining to you because I studied the whole turnaround and I start positioning myself. So in 2008, we went for transformation in December. I take 20 of my management team, since I knew what is going to happen already. 20 of my management team, we went for a retreat in Port Dickson. So in the retreat in Port Dickson, the facilitator, which is my mentor now, she asked me, what do you want to achieve from this transformation program? So I told her that I want, since now I already hit 200 million turnover, I want to be a 1 billion ringgit company in Malaysia. So she turned around and asked my staff, how many of you think PKT can be a billion ringgit company, say in 5 to 10 years time? So actually, nobody believed that we can be a billion ringgit company because nobody have heard of a billion ringgit turnover at that time in 2008 for logistics industry. I think the highest was 300 to 400,000 million. All right. So then we start working on the transformation. How do we reach a billion ringgit? So that transformation, we came up with 3 wawasan. Okay. The first wawasan is called wawasan 60-40. Okay. Beyonce, please help us with the 60-40 vision. Okay. Now, the first wawasan is called 60-40. 60% of our revenue should maintain in automotive, 40 in the non-auto. Now, the reason is This is in terms of if your study is called product diversification. We move away from recession-prone product to recession-proof product. So I'm moving away, still in the logistics industry, from the vertical of the industry. Okay, instead of handling only automotive, now I need to handle non-auto sector, which is primarily focused on the fast-moving consumer goods. This is recession-proof. Because why? In the recession now, especially with the COVID-19 recession, fast-moving consumer goods are the only one that maintain. These are called the essentials. The government say these are the essential. Because we are doing essential customers, that is why we still maintain some customer during this COVID-19. So these customers are people like diapers, the manufactured diapers. In the COVID-19, government did not stop the factory producing baby diapers, right? They need to continue to produce diapers. So diapers factory still continue, our logistics still continue. McDonald's still open. McDonald's is our F&B, fast-moving consumer goods. Okay, this is F&B as well, fast-moving. So McDonald's still need to open. They are our customer, and we are still doing distribution. Family Mart is also open. We are doing for Family Mart, and we are still opening. But automotive is zero. Luckily, we have our diversification plan back in 2008 with this Wawasan 60-40. So 60-40 means diversification. 60% in auto, 40% in non-auto. So it is to do with, I have told a lot of entrepreneurs, you need to look into all sorts of diversification, including digital diversification, which I will talk about it a little bit more. So if you can shoot up the 4D drugs of COVID-19. Okay, so there are 4 diversification plans that I need every one of you to think of during this period of time. One is you need to do product diversification for sure. If you have zero sales now, you need to diversify your product. Number 2, you need to consider risk in your product. Well, this product will continue to have risk during recession or recession-prone, recession-proof. Okay, recession-prone or recession-proof. Number 3, this product need to be not only offline but must be also online also. So digital diversification. And this product can sell not only in Malaysia but also ASEAN. So the next wawasan that we embarked to in that transformation in 2008, besides 60-40, I think you just show them the 60-40 and what is the next one after this, ASEAN 30. Okay, the next product and next vision that we came out during the 2008 transformation program is Wawasan ASEAN 30. 30% of our sales maintained in Malaysia. 70 maintained in Malaysia, 30 maintained in outside Malaysia, so that we don't put all our eggs in Malaysia basket. So this is called geographical diversification. So with that, we actually started our business in Korea, Taiwan, Indonesia, Vietnam, India, Thailand, start our office in Labuan to manage all this ASEAN business. So now we have a big chunk of reserve profit that we make in ASEAN country. So during the crisis, when the ringgit devalued to 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, we decided to dividend back during this period. So when we dividend back from all our OC operation, we get 4.5 ringgit to $1. So we also manage our P&L during that time with a ringgit devaluation. So finally, our grand vision is 1 billion ringgit during the transformation in 2008. Okay, so that was the vision that we have. 3 wawasan. Now I will show you the result of this transformation. We don't just talk only, but actually we walk our talk. So we went into all the navigation. Let's show you our product. Can you go into the graph of all our customers? The top one, yeah. Okay. So the profile before 2014 and now lah. This is 2019. So before that is this one. No. Okay, so this is our automotive customers. This is our blue ocean strategy. We are one of the only player in Malaysia and ASEAN for automotive logistics. So we handle many multiple brands. Okay, but in the non-auto sector, I will show you all these customer that we have in 2014 and subsequently, okay, how we grow with that vision. So with the vision, the company will transform. If you can see here, the top two, automotive, and the bottom two are the non-auto side, which is F&B and FMCG. So F&B and FMCG, the icons, I had to make it very large to cover the space. But in 2019, I have to reduce the icon to make it very small because there's no place to put in already. So with the vision, we managed to grow our non-auto business and become so huge in the FMCG and F&B, especially when we took over the ASEAN distribution for Daiso. Is Daiso inside here? Daiso also not inside here because we just took over in 2020. Okay, to end of 2019, guys. Okay, so this is our diversification plan that we have in the crisis in 2019. So after the 2019 crisis transformation, PKT grow our business towards the direction of 1 billion ringgit. Okay, Behos, just go to it and move on towards the graph. Okay, just click the next graph. Okay, so the non-auto business keep on going from this amount, not this one. Okay, then we go towards the direction of 1 billion ringgit. Okay, so okay, so this basically 2009 world financial crisis. So I told you that we have faced about, are you guys still there? Okay, we faced 3 crises. I told you about the first crisis, which is the ASEAN currency crisis, and I told you about the second crisis, which is the world financial crisis. Now we are moving into the third crisis, which is called the regional oil and ringgit crisis. And of course, after 2008 transformation, PKT sales go up towards 1 billion ringgit until 2011. We decided to do another transformation, and this transformation is called Employee Transformation Program, where we focus more on employee. Before we reach the 2014 crisis, at that time, we were about over 700 million, and we were hit by this crisis. This crisis, ringgit devalued from 3.0 to 4.5, and also oil price dropped from $100 down to $30. So we decided to move into online business at that time. Okay, so we start to focus on e-commerce. We created a lot of new product on top of FMCG, F&B, and now we create a lot of new products. We went into co-supply chain. We went into e-commerce. We went into port logistics. We went into a bit of education as well. So these are all the new product that we diversified in 2014, so that we will not be impacted by another crisis that devalue ringgit and make recession that will affect our business as well. So that brings us to the mother of all crises. Okay, so the mother of crisis is called the COVID-19 crisis. So when COVID-19 crisis came, the only way I can look into it is I go back into the H1N1 crisis pandemic. So I went and traced back the period of time that we faced in the H1N1, because a lot of us actually forgotten what happened in the H1N1 crisis. During H1N1 crisis, basically our economy was also affected, but there's no lockdown. It also started from I don't know from which country, and then they finally got the vaccine. Okay, the crisis was actually being declared as a pandemic somewhere in March 2020. May 2009. They declared as a pandemic in May 2009. They found the vaccine in November 2009. So that was June, July, August, September, October, November. So in 6 months, after they declared as a pandemic, they got the vaccine for H1N1. Of course, at the end of the day, then suddenly everything disappeared. Then everyone forgot what happened. So then we benchmark again this pandemic where we can actually look into China. It started off in December and China have a lockdown in January. And then come February and March, March Malaysia lockdown. Okay, after they locked down, then we locked down in March. And then they already opened up in April. And we are March now. So if we lock down like China in January, by April they open up. So the February, March, April they open up. So Malaysia lockdown in March, April, May, June we should open up. So we are looking at June open up because we follow almost the same step as China. It's a lockdown as well. But even though we call it MCO, they call it lockdown. So we have CMCO. They also actually release a little bit step by step, releasing the economy. We are following the footstep of how China is doing it. So that's why we expect our economy to be okay in from June onward. So from June onward, once it's okay, then we need to stimulate the economy. Actually, the government is start stimulating the economy now. We are now looking into the stock market in America. America also start opening up again already. And then we had to focus on Dow Jones. Okay, you need to look at Dow Jones and you try to vision the V-shape, the rebound. Dow Jones was the highest 30,000 points and they went down all the way to 22 to 23,000 points. And today they went up to 24,000 plus already. So you need to focus looking at Dow Jones and look at KLLC, how we are going in tandem together with the world sentiment. Because no point for us to push for KLLC to move when the world have no sentiment. Okay, so now when there is a world sentiment, China is recovering, their production started, they are start exporting, they will be reporting the next quarter rebound in terms of economic growth. US will report a rebound in the economic growth, and we will report the next quarter. That means May, June, July. So then our next quarter is so we are stuck in the May. We started in May, so our next quarter will be July, August, September rebound. But this quarter will be probably not much, no growth, zero growth or negative growth. But then again, next quarter will be the July, August, September, a big growth. So our stock market will be anticipating when the Bank Negara announced the projection somewhere in end of this month or early next month about the next quarter growth result. So when they announce this month, we already know what is the this quarter projection for growth, and the next quarter will be positive. So when it's positive, the stock market will go up, and everyone of the stock market will go up. And we as people, I know you guys don't deal in stock market, but a lot of people actually will buy share and they will make money. And even they make paper money, that means before they sell it, they will be very happy. It is a feel-good factor. Government pump in a lot of project into the economy, jumpstart all this mega project, and then we will actually be having a good time somewhere in September onward. Okay, so we are looking at somewhere September where a good time. But from now until September, it is slowly growing. So there will be a lot of good news coming up, and bad news over already. For America, justification to get the money, so they will report a lot of losses to get the money from the government to push the economy up. They also have the same thing. They also have their UPA. I cannot remember that one is job security scheme by the government, give money to their people and whatnot. So they also have this delay in financing and whatnot. So I always tell all the entrepreneurs, All right. So what is the government stimulus package about the 250 billion ringgit that the government did? So the government automatically allowed every one of you to delay your financing to make sure that you have cash in hand. So delay your financing by 6 months. So if you are financing your car automatically delay 6 months. Okay, for businesses, automatically delay 6 months. For SME, for the large one, you need to apply. So some of us apply, delay the financing for 6 months. Okay, so for every one SME company, you can apply for OPA. If you are below 75 employee, you get 1,200 ringgit per employee. Below 4,000 ringgit, okay, government will subsidize you. So because you have no business in March, April, May, and June, so they will pay you UPA. Okay, so government subsidize from UPA, and a lot of company also do salary deferment or salary cut. Okay, cut salary means reduction by 20% to reduce the cost, so that the company can sustain their cash flow at this time. Okay, now I know a lot of you are students. You're worried about your job security and whatnot. So I hope the government will do some stimulus package to help the company that employ students to back to work. And with the Grab coming back, and then online trading, you can do some online trading also. There will be a lot of stimulus package to help to get jobs. Now, post-COVID, I think we are about half an hour before the end. I will give about 15 minutes to Encik Tuan Nizam to ask me some Q&A questions. But before that, let me tell you about what is happening here. So these are the new norm that we are expecting all the corporate company to do now. The new norm is now teleconferencing already. Last time we hardly used teleconferencing. We used to meet face by face. Coming back to work, also new SOP. A lot of people don't understand about the SOP. So I tell you the SOP is you need to scan for fever, you need to wear mask in the office, you need to sanitize your hand. We need to sanitize the office frequently. So the cleaner are sanitizing the office frequently. So with that kind of things happening, so we are safe to come back to work for PKT. Of course, in order to make sure that your business sustain, you need to apply for OPA. You need to apply for the extension of the 6-month financing. You need to do some salary cut or salary deferment. Okay. Otherwise, you need to sell your shares to some investor to pump in some money to you. So it's an opportunity time for a lot of investors. But in terms of regional, let's look at regional, what will happen. So now in 2000, and this crisis, China stopped the production for a few months. So because of 2 months stop in productions, or 3 months stop in productions, the global supply chain was disrupted. They were the manufacturer for the world. Okay. So now what I explain to people is in every country, they try to manage their supply chain. Give you an example what happened in Japan. Now in 2003, I think, when was the earthquake, Fukushima earthquake? So Fukushima earthquake happened in 2004. If not mistaken, let me just quickly Google that. Fukushima earthquake. Okay, Fukushima earthquake happened in 2011. After Fukushima earthquake, actually Toyota have a production shutdown because Toyota plant, the component factory are near Fukushima area. So they couldn't supply the component to Toyota to make the car to sell. So then the Japanese stopped thinking about just in time. Because why they need the component maker to be near to Toyota? Because they were thinking just in time to reduce the stock. They produce the stock in time for them to make the production. Okay. After Fukushima, they decided to do dual sourcing. One from the current supplier and another 14 days difference in timing from China. So they outsourced component to China in some ASEAN region to supply to them in case there will be another earthquake. But they didn't know that China will have a crisis that will shut down the factory because China had no earthquake. Maybe only on the region in the up north in the Inner Mongolia region, but not in the Shanghai and the coastal area. There's no such crisis. But not knowing that there will be a COVID-19 that can shut down all the factories in China. Okay, when this thing happened, so Nissan, if you look into the news, Google the news, Nissan actually reported they had to shut down their factory in Japan because no component coming in from China. So moving forward, if I am a Japanese management team, they always use the word called corrective measure. So what is the corrective measure after this COVID-19? Okay, and this disruption not only happened in Nissan, also happened in Korea. Hyundai also reported they also shut down their factory. America, a lot of manufacturers also shut down the factory. They cannot get your handphone. Okay, maybe iPhone is manufactured by Foxconn in China, send it to America for final assembly and come back to you. So they will have problem on supplying all these kind of items. So because of that, all the countries that buy from China will have to think about corrective measure. How am I going to have a preventive measure again from this thing happen? So corrective measure will be to move some of my factory production from China to ASEAN country. That means instead of only depending on single source, dual sourcing Japan and China, now I will have Japan and also ASEAN country as my dual sourcing. Okay, Japan and ASEAN country, because they know when the China lockdown, by the China open up March, we lock down, and then they can actually move the production this way. So we will be expecting a lot of Japanese investor, American investor, European investor to find another location for their factory. Obviously, Malaysia is not a high population country. We are only 32.6 million population. Those labor-intensive business will not come to Malaysia. Those labor-intensive business that left Malaysia to China will go to Vietnam or Indonesia. Okay, Malaysia are capital-intensive business. They know that, especially electrical components. So I will expect a lot of Japanese electrical and electronic company to move their factory to Malaysia. Okay, so we are ready. Better be ready for this kind of investment. I expect Malaysian government to be very aggressively doing lobbying for Malaysia, because they have three choice of location now. They will choose to go to either Vietnam, Indonesia, which the consumer market is very big, Vietnam also, and Malaysia, which is higher in terms of skilled labor. So for the skilled labor, they will look into Malaysia as most of the population, the component that come. So we already know, because we are in the logistics, we got a lot of inquiry for American company and Japanese company coming into Malaysia. So we have inquiry for, because the first thing they are looking for is logistics cost. How much is it to do beside manufacturing? How much is my logistics cost? Indonesia is not their choice, because logistics cost in Indonesia is super high. Even though you think Indonesia is very cheap country, but no, their logistics cost is very, very high. Okay, but Malaysia is actually the cheapest in this region. Of course, very competitively next to us is our Singapore neighbor in terms of logistics cost. So Malaysian government now have to make sure that our logistics cost is the cheapest. Our customs procedures are the most transparent, so that the investor will look at it as a plus point to come into Malaysia with or without incentive. We don't have to give them incentive, they also will come in. Okay, so this is how I look at post-COVID. Company is moving around. Business also changed. I think a lot of my friends, I was mentoring a lot of people during this COVID-19. I actually have a COVID session I published in my Facebook page, and people actually RSVP and join me for video conferencing with me one weekend. And most of them have in the construction sector, entertainment sector, anything to do with social gathering. actually zero sales now. Okay, construction also zero sales. So this sector, people need to do transformation. They need to move out from their current business, which is zero sales, into something which is recession-proof business, like FMCG, F&B, and whatnot. So I like to use one case study from one of my mentee. She is actually on event equipment supply. So where got event in Malaysia? Even from February onward, all the big banks cancel their Chinese New Year function. Okay, there's no concert, nothing, no gathering, more than 10 people. So because of that, they have zero sales since February, March. Then they decided to go into selling fruits online. And during MCO, people prefer to eat healthy fruits instead of only all the fatty foods, all the burgers and whatnot. Okay, so then they sell a lot of foods, and they are using this as a strategy to buffer for their fixed cost expenditure. So now they are able to sell one day about 100 over orders per day. They even sell durian, so they are able to cover for their fixed cost. So when the market come back, then they have two business now. They have their event business and they have their food distribution business. So then they can actually manage that in the future. So a lot of businesses, even one of my nasi lemak restaurant friend, he was selling nasi lemak only in a restaurant in a mall. During the shutdown, the mall was closed down. So he had no choice, he had to go into digital transformation, selling nasi lemak online. Okay, that is called the nasi lemak Nelly. The other one is called Fruit Kia lah. Okay, so nasi lemak Nelly start surviving by selling online. So after this, they have two business in hand. One is the restaurant business and one is the online business. So online is unlimited, they can grow. So their strategy changed already. Instead of growing a lot of branches everywhere, they have one branch in every one of the major city, and that branch will be also selling for indoor in dining and also dine-in and also online delivery as well. So this is moving forward a lot of strategy for those F&B player to move into digital business as well. So if I'm not mistaken, I have come up with a list, Prof. If you have my list of all the businesses that benefit from COVID-19. Facial mask manufacturer, mask manufacturer, their business is 24 hours non-stop. Okay, that is what. Rubber glove is also one of the top one. What other business that enjoy from this COVID-19? A lot of businesses, I think suddenly Zoom, video tariff conferencing. Then we have this Zoom. From nowhere, Zoom becomes so popular. Then we have Webex. Then we have we are using Streamex. I heard there's one from Google, one from Microsoft as well. So many of them are already inside already. So a lot of transformation happening. So I think I give the last 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes for Encik Nizam. Anything that I missed out, Encik Nizam, that you want me to share? I can't hear you. You are mute. You are currently mute.
Hold on, Dato. I'm searching for the top 10.
Okay, got it. I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm looking for that top 10 business upcoming.
Okay, it's okay lah, because I sent it to you to your what do you call it, WhatsApp yesterday.
Okay, this one, Dato. Okay, top 10 most beneficial businesses due to COVID-19.
Okay. So after that, you can read me some Q&A, guys. Chilat just sent me some question. Hi, Chilat. Hi, Zaki. Ainun. Hi. Okay. So this is interesting. Sorry, can I just read that again? Okay. Surgical mask is the number one beneficiary. I would say pharmacists also beneficiary. Anything with 99.8% antibacterial cleaning liquid, you cannot find them in the shop. All was Sapu already. Okay, online business, Courier service, all our courier brothers all enjoying the record-breaking numbers of parcels, I think. Until now, even 2-3 days, I send something cannot deliver on time. So food delivery start. We have our Food Panda, we have our Grab Food, Lala Move. I don't know in your states any others. Psychiatrists, doctor. Okay, how many of you have stress and depression because of this COVID-19 staying at home every day, listening to negative news? You get so worried until you go into stress and depression. So stop listening to all this kind of negative news, guys. Because if you are negative, you will get into this kind of anxiety attack followed by depression. Okay, my friends are telling me they are all went into depression, especially for businesses people, because too much negative news. So the web-based video conferencing apps, a lot of them actually become very famous. Telco use a lot. Everybody at home using a lot of data. A lot of students outside in your, I think you keep on doing top up until you lost a lot of money. Online payment gateway as well. A lot of business use online. So online payment. So I'm sure there's a lot of other business that benefited in this COVID-19. If you know any one of them that benefited from this COVID-19, you can share it in your message now. I'm seeing some people are keying in. They are Christians from Rosalina, Ahmad, Salfi. Hi, everyone. So, okay, Encik Nizam, you want to throw your question to me now?
Okay, I will repeat. I read the question. Okay, from this comment.
Okay.
Okay, we have one several from Professor Mandia, Dr. Sri Intan. Okay, what is your opinion on the latest war between US and China with regard to Huawei?
Huawei between US and China. Okay. Anyway, but this is in terms of technology lah, because you have to understand. Okay, I already asked you to Google who are the number one technology provider for 4G, 5G in the US. Now the thing here is like this. These technology equipments, frankly speaking, they can hear all your conversation. Now, you have a Chinese supplying you this kind of technology, and you have American. But you have to understand who is behind the American supplying all this technology. I don't want to say because so sensitive in Malaysia. This community that the Malaysian Muslim don't like. Okay, they own a lot of this technology in America, and then compared to China. Okay, so if China selling very competitive, I say in Malaysia, all these flying saucer, or we call it microwave dish, they were hugely competing with each other, selling to all our DG people, Celcom, all these Maxis. They were buying. They need to put up this satellite dish, right? And their machine. So all these machines are selling by either Chinese or another community which is very sensitive, but they are American. Okay. Now, these two are the top player in the market. So if you are using the American one, so you have to be prepared. They will listen to your conversation. If you use the Chinese one, they will also listen to your conversation. But can Chinese, this manufacturer, sell in America and listen to their conversation and not allowing the intelligent to listen to your conversation when they want to catch? They will not allow. But they cannot say that. Okay, that's how they say they catch all the terrorists, because of the conversation they hear. They were arranging for all these kind of things. So all these are talking about intelligence. So it's beyond us. So I cannot comment. I think they have the right to not allow the technology to go in. But we also have the right, because Malaysia is a small country. You want to listen to our conversation, up to you. As long as you sell me cheap, I don't mind, because we have nothing to hide. Okay. So at the end of the day, see, our intelligence is collaborating with who lah, and then who allowed them to listen to their conversation. So this is it. This is the politics behind Huawei and America.
Okay, Dato. For next question from Nurul Suzana Hashim. Okay. The question is, many businesses will have their crisis management plans in place, but the challenge now is how do you sustain a plan typically built for days and weeks to manage a period of extended uncertainty?
Okay, the question is here already. How many businesses will have their crisis management plan? Okay. But the challenge now is how do you sustain a plan typically built for days and weeks to manage a period of extended uncertainty? Okay, you see, I told you about my friend, right? So we go through, drill into numbers. This is the period you manage your cash flow, Nurul. Okay, say for example, if you have 300,000 ringgit salary per month, the bank already delay your financing for 6 months. So you don't have to think about your bank financing. So now you have zero sales, okay? But you have to pay 300,000. And then government also came out with a special relief fund, okay, which is 1 million ringgit of loan at 3.5%. So you need to borrow this money from the bank. You borrow the money from the bank under this special relief fund of 3.5% at 1 million ringgit. Loan of 1 million ringgit. So this money you will use to pay. Now, the government say you can apply for UPA. 4,000 ringgit and below salary, you apply for UPA. Then you get 1,200 ringgit per employee. The rest of the employee above 4,000, you can actually ask them to reduce salary, or you can do salary deferment until the end of the year. Depends how long your business is going to recover. So after doing deferment salary and take UPA, there will be bound to be at least 50% or 250,000 left of the salary that you still need to pay. Now you need to quickly come out with a product that you will use your employee to do distribution and help you to do the packing and food or whatever that is related to the current economy that you can sell. You need to do a quick diversification to make sure you can sustain your employee. So if 150,000 balance in your fixed overheads, divide by 1 million ringgit, you can sustain your business for at least 7 months. 1 million divide by 150,000, you can sustain for 6.6 months. Okay, so that one itself will make sure that by the time we turn around economy, everything I say by September, everything will go back to normal. You will actually use this money to sustain to this period. If you do nothing now, with 150,000, you can sustain until 6.5 months. Okay, so until September, you can sustain. Now, if you do something, use our employee to do something, to do work, outsourcing work or whatever you can, to even pay something for this 150,000 a month. If you divide 150,000 a month, divide by 30 days, you get 5,000 per day. You need to make something, 5,000 per day. Okay? So find something to do to make 5,000 ringgit per day. If you manage to do that, you are break even. So you had that 1 million ringgit, you will not use it all. You use it to revive your business, marketing and whatnot. So your job is to do that diversification now, to make sure you have diversified. Keep your employee, because we're going to have a crisis if everyone start sacking your employee, even after you take UPA. Keep your employee after you take UPA, because UPA is a free money from the government to you. And then you already asked the employee to help you to defer their salary until end of December. Okay, you can have many deals. You tell him cut 20% first, and after January, when business recover, I give you back the salary. Okay, something like that. Okay, so many strategy you can do it, but at the end of the day, make sure you cover back your expenditure. So by doing that, you can sustain your business as long as you can. Okay, next question.
Hope that will answer. Okay, next one is from Prof. Sirin Tan also. Okay, Dato, will America survive the COVID crisis under Trump?
Of course. America will definitely survive this crisis, because if they have $1.2 trillion as a stimulus package, they can come up with another $3 trillion in line. So Obama turned around America during the world financial crisis by using 800 billion ringgit only. Trump is using 1.2 trillion US dollar, 2.2 trillion US dollar to revive the economy. For sure, America will survive. If America collapse, you can expect world economy to collapse, and you will also go into Great Depression, and the World War will start.
So with the rate of death going in US, so do you think that they can control the pandemic in US?
But you see, a lot of people don't think that any drug will come out. They listen to the news as though there's no drug. But you have to know what happened in H1N1. In 6 months, after November, they have the vaccine for H1N1. People forgot about H1N1 already, and the economy was so robust. And they used actually a repurposed drug. Tamiflu was created in 1990. Tamiflu was created in 2003 for some other disease, and they repurposed the Tamiflu now to use for H1N1. When you got H1N1 now, you go to hospital, the doctor will give you Tamiflu drug to take, medicine. You stay there for 1-2 days, and they discharge you, okay, and they quarantine you or discharge you or something like that. That was back in 2009. We think it's a pandemic. Then they already had a vaccine, but how many of us take that vaccine? Zero. Nobody took that vaccine. I can bet you when COVID-19 come out, also a lot of you cannot afford the vaccine, and a lot of us will not take the vaccine also. Okay, because why? Because this pandemic, so far only 114 people died. Okay, with our taking care, go to hospital. Out of the 6,000 old people in the hospital today, only 114 die only. And these are very old people. These old people will die even normal flu. Okay, so for me, this pandemic is, once they have the drug, repurposed drug for you to do, when you are sick, they ask you to take straight away so that you don't go into the dangerous stage. You don't have to be hospitalized. If every doctor are given the permission to prescribe a medication now to take the repurposed drug, you will not go into the dangerous stage already. So you only need to stay at home and recover from this flu, just like normal flu, you recover. So when the vaccine come up, is you don't take vaccine one. Normally, Malaysian people are not used to vaccine because vaccine are used for country that is quite rich. Every 1 year for rich people, they have to do a jab. And the vaccine will be multiple vaccine inside. You have H1N1 inside, you have the normal influenza A, B, then you have all multiple jab, one shot go inside you. But you don't want to be like chicken, our chicken is full of antibiotic vaccine. Then next time, if you forgotten the jab, you fall sick, you will really suffer. That one is worse.
Okay, that will answer.
So the answer will be, it's not going to be 2 years. Guys, listen to me. After September, drug will come out, vaccine will come out, everything will be gone by September onward.
Okay, thank you, Dato. So hopefully by September we'll be back to normal, to our normal life.
Yep.
Okay, the next question is from Rahman, but I think Dato has answered that. Okay, very comprehensively. Okay, what is your strategy in maintaining the strength of PK technology logistic activity during COVID-19? I think Dato has answered that. And then from Tong Yi Tai. Okay, what is your opinion on US reopen their economy market while the pandemic still going on? Okay, will US survive this pandemic subsequent to what Trump did to the country?
Okay, actually, this is because, well, they are mainstream media and the other stream of media lah. So in Malaysia, I ask you a question, Tiong, what media you are watching as your main source of media? So if you can answer me that, you have to do the same in US because US is doing the same now. There are two types of media in US, the mainstream and the social media. Okay, so Malaysia, we are listening to only social media now. Do we listen to the mainstream media still? Encik Nizam, do you watch which media you are watching now? Most of the time. Are you
social
watching?
Social media.
Okay. So in America, it's the same. Everybody is watching social media. Nobody is looking at the mainstream media. The mainstream media is supporting Democrats, which is the opposition. And then the social media is supporting Donald Trump. So that is why there are two streams of media that you will not get the real picture at the end. So you as a educationalist, somebody who in the education, you have to make your own comparison now. I already explained to you how they manipulate the news for their purpose. How they did the 1998 currency crisis, how they worked together with George Soros to devalue ASEAN currencies. In 2008, how they devalue the push the oil price to 150 US dollar, and then the world financial crisis, how they did it. So all these things are all manipulated media. So it's up to you to listen how the media is telling you. So if I explain to you, you will not agree to me because you believe in only one type of media. So in me, in the mainstream media, is all protected, it's all bought, it's all controlled. So you cannot know anything. So it's difficult for me to answer you because to people, they may not like Trump. And then if I say good thing about Trump, they will hate, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's not for me to talk about politics. But I knew what's happening. I know Trump is going to win the election by landslide this year. He just won a re-election in California, and re-election in US is called, special election is called by-election in Malaysia. So they have two by-election in the US. One is Wisconsin and one is California. Last week only, the result came out. Republican nominee by Trump, both won by big majority. So in California, which is next to LA, which is including Los Angeles. So that is a sign that Trump will win very big in the 2020 November election by landslide, because America don't have a contender for Trump. They put up this guy called Joe Biden, and which this Joe Biden has a lot of corruption issue with Ukraine. And then this corruption issue, for me also, I'm a bit curious, because during that time when he was in Ukraine, that is when MH17 was shot down in somewhere in July. And then Joe Biden was already in Ukraine collaborating with the Ukraine government, which is a corrupted government. And they were also, that guy also lost the election, same like Malaysia. They lost the election in 2009. One actor took over, and he is an anti-corruption contender. Okay?
Okay,
Next.
thank you, Dato. I have several questions, but I think I will choose one because it's nearly 12:30. Okay, from I think one from students, Chilat. Okay, so the question is, good afternoon, Dato. I have two questions. As a successful entrepreneur, one, is entrepreneur skill is a must for fresh graduates, especially for those technical engineering graduates who do not have good business financial knowledge? And two, what are the entrepreneur skill, communication, innovative, risk-taking, etc., that a fresh graduate need to have before you will employ them? Thank you.
Okay. I employ them. I employ them is working for me. Oh, okay. But anyway, Chitat, as a successful skill must have for fresh graduate. Okay. First of all, depends on the subject you are doing now. Okay. If you are doing engineering subject, you need to take up MBA. Okay. I would advise you after you work for 2 years in the managerial level, more than 2 years. So I don't know about industrial engineering. Is he an industrial engineering graduate? Chitat. Chilat is okay.
I think it's engineering graduate, I think.
Oh, engineering, Okay, so I asked a lot of times this to my friends who study in UK engineering one. So but he want to be an entrepreneur. So engineering want to be an entrepreneur, you must work with somebody, and then you focus on going into management level. When you reach management level, maybe 5 to 10 years after that experience, you pick up MBA. That you will learn how to become an entrepreneur, because engineer and entrepreneurship is totally different. Okay, but then again, you need to know how to create your own products, and then set up your own factory and whatnot. Industrial engineer, I think that will be a future, because as a logistics company, I'm now employing industrial engineer as my operation head. Okay, so my head of operation is industrial engineers or electrical engineers as well. But he took out MBA, and then that's how he become a management senior management team. All right.
Okay, Dato. One last question, I think, from our deans. Okay, from Prof. Roslina, Prof. Dr. Roslina Ahmad Saufi. Okay,
Okay.
this one have to give her the question because the dean is asking question. Okay, the transportation and logistic industries will not be isolated from immense changes, which bring both risks and opportunities. What are the disruptions do you foresee that logistic companies need to focus now? Secondly, what is your advice to the present logistic academic program must have to prepare students in this field prior to entering the job market or to become an entrepreneur in logistic industries? Okay, quite long questions.
Okay, first of all, okay, let me tell you generally, just leave the question here, never mind. Okay, generally, all our curriculum need to change. All our module need to change. For logistics education, we need to change our module because logistics advancement is very far already now. So what are you studying now may not be relevant anymore because of technology involved in logistics. Because especially online business, how to be online and whatnot lah. On top of that, logistics need to collaborate with engineering side. Because if you see all this Alibaba, Lazada, PKT also, we are not employing only logistics anymore. We are also employing industrial engineers because we are doing production system. So when we go into e-commerce are talking about multiple products with a lot of SKU. So say, for example, Daiso, once they fully make Malaysia as their global distribution hub, we are looking at Daiso shop. You know Daiso shop. You go in there, you cannot finish looking at things one. So especially you go to the Japanese branch, it's like 100,000 SKUs. So these are the 100,000 SKUs. We cannot manage it by man anymore. We need to manage it by system and computerized and automations. So when we go into automation, we need to employ electronical engineers and whatnot, but they have no knowledge about e-commerce. Okay, so we need to actually do some cross degree subject. Say, for example, people in industrial engineering can take up modules in logistics. All right, so that they will learn about logistics. Student in programming also take up subject in logistics because logistics is going to be one of the biggest industry in this Malaysia. Because Malaysia moving forward, we will become the next ASEAN logistics hub because we have the infrastructure and our land is very cheap. A lot of distribution hub are repositioning themselves into Malaysia because our neighboring country is too expensive. The very minute we put our act together, we push our logistics performance index to the highest level possible, we will become the ASEAN hub. And then if we become the ASEAN hub, you need to produce a lot of logistician, but not focusing the old teaching, but the new teaching. You need to revamp your module. You need to add in a lot of new subject. You need to also cross your subject together with the industrial department, engineering department, so that they can learn how to be an industrial engineer in the logistics industry as well. Okay, so will not be isolated. What are the disruption you foresee in logistics company need to focus on? So the disruption now we are worried is the China. Okay, so Chinese logistics company are coming into ASEAN, so they are going regional diversification already. So they are very strong in China. E-commerce is so strong in China. So they already take over all the Chinese distribution in the highest way. So Chinese business are moving together with their not factory, their customer. So for example, Alibaba have their own Qiao Niao team to do their logistics. So when Alibaba bought over Lazada 80%, Alibaba also bring their team over to do their own logistics. So there's no outsourcing, they do it internally. So when the Chinese come and invest, our biggest problem is they don't do outsourcing. So they insource everything. So then on top of that, they're going to bring their courier service to Malaysia. So when they bring their courier service, they have this funding. They can actually get big amount of fund to penetrate, just like how Grab fight with Uber last time. When Uber, they lose money, billions, they continue to lose money. Right? So when our courier company that own Malaysian-owned courier company, they are making profit because they are selling at a reasonable price. But when this courier company come in, they down the price. They match our local courier price by giving any parcel at, say, 5 ringgit only, any destination. That will kill our local market. So they have millions of ringgit for them to lose because their job is to kill all our local player and dominate. After that, they increase the price. Okay, so that is how this is called competition. Okay, so government have to be very careful to monitor this kind of disruption that will affect our country. Unless we are really going to open up the whole industry to let them take over. Let them take over our port, let them take over our logistics, let them take over our courier service, then okay lah. Then in that case, they can come over and take over our jobs as well. So other than that, I think government had to be very careful. When you get the parcel from JT&T, they are actually a China company that actually very, very aggressively taking over our courier companies, businesses. And they are actually going to dominate this business. After one, the next one will come, and the next one will come, and the next one will come. Sooner or later, we have no rice bowl. So that is the worry for the disruption. So that is why we also had to move into online business to make sure that we sustain our business for a longer time. Okay? So let me just read to make sure I answer everything. Secondly, what is your advice for the present logistics academy program? Okay, not enough student. Not enough student. We are only have about, the whole industry, about 50,000 students. In order for Malaysia to move our GDP logistics contribution to our GDP from 3.5% to 5%, okay, we need to have 200,000 logisticians in the market. So now we have 50,000, divide by minus 50,000, 200 minus 50,000, we are looking at about 150,000. Say with a vision of 5 years, we reach 5%. So within 5 years, we need to have 150,000 logisticians. You divide per year and see, and then you divide number of universities that producing. We are very short of logisticians in the market. Okay, so not enough. Even that, if you are Malaysian, you get 2 years experience, Singapore will actually take it from us. They will pinch you and pay you about 6,000 or 7,000 ringgit to work in Singapore. They don't have logistician also. Okay, Cik Nizam.
Okay, Dato, thank you very much. So, I also my two sons I sent to Alam, Dato.
Oh, okay.
So one is doing engineering, one is on deck. So
Okay.
both my two sons I sent to Alam. Okay, so they can work on the ship later. Okay, Dato. Before we start yesterday, I thought that 2 hours is long enough. But now I feel that 2 hours is not enough. But I think, because we have another session around 2, so I think we have the end our session again now. But I hope, okay, for the future that we can have this more session like this with Dato. Okay, so I hope that Dato can spend your time with us, okay, where, especially of sharing your knowledge with our students, okay, and also for our community lah. So I would like to thank Dato very much. Thank you very much. Okay, on behalf of our faculty, on behalf of our dean, Prof. Dr. Roslina, Prof. Dr. Arham, and on behalf of UMK, I would like to thank Dato. Okay, I have a lot of questions, but because time is limited. Okay, thank you very much, Dato, for your time. Okay, and I think for your explanation, for your sharing of knowledge is very, very valuable to us. Okay, that they are listening and for the viewers. So Dato want to say something?
No, I think I think I say a lot already, but I think thanks UMK for your trust in me. Thanks, Prof. Dato Prof and Prof. Dato Prof. Azizi and Prof. Arham for the trust in me. I see them regularly in Facebook. I mean, that's how the new norm. We are connected through social media already, and I'm looking forward to go to UMK. Actually, right after this COVID-19, actually before COVID-19, I already planned to go to UMK for talks and whatnot. But after this COVID-19, I'm sure I will go to UMK to do this visit.
Okay, thank you, Dato. I also like to thank you, our Prof. VC, okay, for his past support on doing this on during the COVID. So we have so many sessions. So we have Sembang Santai is a series 6. So have your main topics. So this is one of the topics. So today's topic is more, I think, more than specific. Okay, we get something like strategic management. Okay, we also have the finance. Okay, we have also the trade politics, trade politics, speculation, hedging. Okay, we have a lot of knowledge from you, Dato. Okay, it's very, very useful. Okay, open our mind. Okay, we would like to thank you very much, Dato.
Okay.
We hope we will be doing this together again in the future. Okay,
Okay.
Jadi sebelum saya mengakhiri ini, saya nak mengucap terima kasih kepada semua, kepada viewers dan juga saya bagi pihak FKP, Dekan Fakulti dan juga UMK, mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya, maaf zahir batin.
Yeah.
But Raya at home, kita ada work at home, from home, but for this year kita kena Raya from home. Okay, stay safe, stay home and stay safe. Kita jaga kita. Okay, sekian. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera.
Bye everyone.